Hey guys, Melissa here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this Viking knit wrapped cabochon. For this pendant, I use prehnite, but you can use whatever stone you would like. So if you want to see how I made this, just stay tuned and I'll show you how. Okay, so let's get started. I have my cabochon here. This measures 34 by 20 millimeters. I already measured around the stone. It's a little over 3 inches. That'll determine how much base wire I need. I'm going to use 18 gauge today for that. And you need to accommodate for the stone and also the bail. So I usually go about 3 times what my stone is, so that's about 9 inches, but I'm going to give it a little bit more and do 12 inches. I just have this tiny little ruler here, and that should give me plenty of wire to work with to support my stone, to make a bail, and if I want to do something decorative on the back, I can do that as well. I'm going to weave with 28 gauge. I think my stone is small and thin enough that 28 gauge should suffice for that. To do this weave, we have to measure out and cut a length of this beforehand. We can't work off the spool. And I think I'm going to cut off enough to do the Viking weave and also to weave the bail. I'm just going to guesstimate about 6 feet worth. That should hopefully be plenty, and where we don't waste a lot of wire either. All right, so I got 6 feet of weaving wire, which I'm sure will be a pain to manage at first. We'll get through it. Next, I want to shape my base wire around my stone. Kind of bend it in half. I'm going to use my stone here as a template. I'll move the foam a second. Cross the wires on top. Push them and bend them to get the shape smaller than my stone so it fits on the back. Try to get a nice oval shape here. And now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and bend my wires upward. Keep using your stone as reference. Make sure everything fits nicely. You can weave whatever type of bail you want. I'm going to use, I believe, as a modified sumac weave for 2 wires. I'm going to have my wires right next to each other. Nice and straight. It's kind of been my favorite weave for bails lately. So that's pretty good. Okay, so I've got my weaving wire here, and I'm going to use half of it for the bail and half of it for my Viking weave. So I'm going to give myself about 2.5, 3 feet for my bail. That should be good. So I'm kind of like in the middle, so that's where I'm going to start winding my wire around. So I'm going to start it off by going a couple, 2-3 times around. And I'm going to come across the top of my wires. I'm going to go around once, across the back, up and over, and around the bottom wire once. I'm going to bring it around the top and go over the top wire once, which brings it along the back. I'm going to go around the bottom wire once. I'm going to smoosh that down. This is a nice tight weave. I'm going to weave at least an inch or so. Keep your wires nice and snug. I like to take guitar picks to smush them down, because I don't really have any nails. All right, so recap. I'm going to go across the top, around the top wire once, along the bottom, and around the bottom wire, across the top, around the top wire, along the bottom, and around the bottom wire. About halfway there. Okay, so I've got my bale woven, just a little bit over an inch. Plenty for a bale. I got a little over 3 feet left on the other side. Make sure everything's good still. All right, so I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to go this way around. My wire's coming up from the back, and it's going to go over this way. So I'm going to start feeding my wire, start feeding it through the center. And it's going to look like that. So now you need to determine how big you want your loop. And you can use something round as a template. So you can keep your loops even. I'm going to put a little kink in my wire here where I want it. Then you're going to bring your wire end through your loop. Be careful pulling it through that you don't get any kinks. Kind of work those out as you're going. There we are. Okay. Bring your template or your round object in. Go down through the frame. Get your kink in there where your wire goes, and then bring your wire up through the loop. That loop looks a little big. Just going to tug on it slightly. Okay. Down through your frame. Get your guide. Put your little bend in your wire and then bring it up through your loop. Trying not to kink. did there. All right. Bring it through. Grab your guide. Get your loop set and bring it back up. There we go. Got a little kinky. First row is always the toughest, tends to get easier as you go along. All right, put it through the frame. And bring it up through the loop. All right, and keep doing that till you get all the way around. All right, so I went all the way around. I'm going to go through and use my little guide to kind of even out everybody. Round out any kinky shapes. Hopefully they're all roughly the same size, but you know, as you can see, they're movable. So when you get to the end, you can kind of shift it around and bring it down here. But I want to fill this gap here, so I'm going to do the same as I did before. I'm going to make one more loop, put it down into the frame. All right, on the other side of the bale, I'm going to come out underneath again, underneath and through, and gently guide my loop to the same size as the others. It's a little big still. Let's see here. Kind of gently roll it around those pliers to the size I want it. There we go. That's pretty good there. All right, we're going to start our second row. So my loop ended right there. So I'm going to make another loop above this loop. So what I'm going to do, put my finger here to guide, and I'm going to put it through this loop and kind of put a bend in that, and out this loop, but through the loop you're making, if that makes sense. Try not to tangle. Get rid of all your tools because it's going to get tangled. So I went in and out, and I'm going to come pull it through the center of this loop. And just pull it gently because you're not going to use any tools. Make sure everybody stays straight. You're going to pull it, and you're going to pull it to the size you want. Kind of like that. And you're going to keep doing the same thing. Constant wire maintenance as you go. Find your end, put it through the farther loop and out the inner loop, and then through the middle of the loop you're making. My wire wants to twist on me. Okay. Bring it down to the size you want. And make your loop. Once again, down through the farther loop, out through the inner loop, and then through your bigger loop. Gently pull it through to the size you need. Your loop's too big, you can kind of use around those pliers to gently pull some more through. All right, in and out. And through. In and out. And through. It's nice when it comes together like this. In and out, and then through. Makes it easier when you're pulling to the left. Get your shape and then bring your loop to the right. There you go. And then keep going all the way around with that same pattern. Okay, so I got the second row done. So I ended up right there. I kind of go through and even it out a little bit, round out any kinks. And this is where I'm going to put my cabochon on, see where I'm at. Gonna have to do like 2 or 3 more rows. So I'm gonna do 1 row without the cabochon. And just as before, you're gonna keep building on your rows with that same pattern, but you're gonna go in your previous loops you just made. So you're gonna go in and out through the loops you just made in that same manner, and then through your new loop. And just like before, pull it to the desired shape, comparable to your previous ones. Bring it over. In and out. that second row of loops and then bring your wire through. Wire maintenance gets a lot easier at this point. And bring it around. I'm constantly pulling on my wire to keep it nice and smooth, and it is getting easier. In and out the next set of loops. Put a little hook on your wire here. In and out and through your new loop. In and out and through. Use your fingers and thumbs to guide. Okay. Just keep going on this row. All right, I finished my third row. Hopefully I just need one row, so you put your stone in. One more row, I mean. You put your stone in, get the back nice and even, and kind of push your weave up around the stone. And hopefully I can just do one more row, same fashion I've been doing, and hopefully one more row will hold the stone in place here. So I'm gonna hold my stone in place while I weave the same pattern for a fourth row. Once again, use that last row of loops in the farther one, out the closer one, through my loop, and bring it around. Keep the shape and size uniform. And on to the next loop. Through one, out the other, and then through my loop I'm making. Need like 5 hands for this. Just be gentle and go slow. Get that little hook on my wire here. In and out, and through my loop here. Can get tricky trying to keep all your little loops even and matching. All right, that looks good. In and out and through. Guide it and then bring it over. In and out, through, guide it, and then bring it over. Constantly shifting and adjusting. In and out and through. Gently shape it and then bring your loop around. In and out, through, pull it, and then bring your loop around. I like to use my round nose pliers. It's good for shaping. All right, pull it. Don't pull your stone out. And then bring it around. I'm hoping this captures the stone when I'm done. It should. Looks like we're covering a good amount of the stone up on top. Gotta bring it through still. Bring that through. All right, make our loop, first loop, and then bring that around. Seems like it's getting pretty tight. Bring it through. One more set and we'll see where we're at. Seems pretty tight, but do you guys want to go another round? Let me go one more time around just to see how it looks. You can stop there as long as your stone is captured and is secure, but I think I'm gonna see what another row looks like. This is such a delicate wire that I don't think it will take away from the stone much. This makes a very pretty pattern. It's very delicate. Kind of looks like spider webs to me. Be cute to use a little spider charm. So much easier once your wires get short. For sure. Okay, last loop. All right, to finish this off, I'm gonna weave my wire towards the back. My wires are pretty tight. Weave it through to the back, and we can tie it to the frame. Don't look too bad. The frame's right here, so I'm going to wind it around a few times. Ooh, broke. Ended just in time. My little piece of wire said, that's enough. Okay, so we got our bail. I don't think I anchored this wire. Anchor this on one wire. 1, 2, 3. Take some bail making pliers or something round. Make our bail. I've got my wire on this side, so I'm going to attach it to the frame on this side. Kind of match it to that side. 5 times around over there. That looks even. And then snip it. Are we going to see those wires on the back? Yes, we are. It's pretty see-through. So I think I'm going to cut these wires pretty short. I didn't take that into consideration when I determined the length. Probably just could have used 6 inches. Totally forgot I had a clear stone. All right, I'm just going to curl these ends and we should be good. If I didn't have a clear stone, I'd make much larger, intricate swirls. Always go through and even out your wires. Smooth them out. If you got any kinks. Pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to oxidize it and I'll be back to show you the results. All right, so here's how we turned out. I didn't make it too dark. I didn't know how the prehnite would react with the liver of sulfur either, so I brushed it on and then washed it off right away. And of course, this technique will work with any size, shape cabochon you have, and that'll determine how big your little loops are and how many there are. That you'll figure out as you go. So I have a question of the week for you. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried this Viking knit before, either as a bracelet or wrapping a cabochon, and what do you think of it? Do you like doing it? Do you think it's fun? Do you think it's tedious? Just let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what you think. If you like this tutorial, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great week. Go create something, and I'll see you in the next video.